with episode 6, part 2. Yes, we realized that there was another episode 6 for a short time. It's okay. We'll get past it.
Hey, we are into the part where we are pregnant with baby number 2. Roll on.
So, we find out we're pregnant with Sonny. About this time, he's also decided he's going to do firefighting full time. And so, are you? No, you're not. You didn't go to the academy till later in the year. So he's working at the fire department, and then I decide I'm gonna quit being a CNA, and I'm gonna go work at a dental clinic which his stepdad owned, and I'm gonna do that. And we do that for a little bit. Let's see.
I don't even know where I was working at this time.
I don't either. I don't remember.
Was I still at Waste Management?
I'm trying to remember.
Yes,
if you went
I
straight
was,
from
because then
garbage truck to fire
I
department.
got very lucky and got a part-time job at
That's what it was.
the fire department in Amory.
Yes.
That's
That's
where
how
I started
you got your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're doing that. We have Sonny. Everything goes fine. They send him to the academy. No, you're not at the academy yet. Sonny is like 3 or 4 months pregnant. 3 or 4 months.
I sure hope not.
She's 3 or 4 months old, and I find out I'm pregnant with our 3rd child. So
Y'all didn't know what caused. Y'all had no TVs.
No idea.
TVs.
What's a TV?
I mean, I'm same boat.
So Lillian's like 5. I have a 4 month old baby. I'm actually scheduled for a tubal, and I find out I'm pregnant. So we
At the pre-op.
Yeah, at my pre-op appointment.
Oh man.
So
a week from surgery, right? No, I was going to get fixed myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
But insurance did not cover mine. Mine was going to cost me like $1,000.
Yeah.
But hers was free $99. So. Sorry,
So we
babe.
decide, well, I'll just go get a tubal, whatever. That didn't happen because I have to cancel my tubal and schedule a prenatal visit. And so we find out we're pregnant with baby number 3. TK's pregnancy, it was one of my more difficult pregnancies. I had a lot go on because of clotting factors and blood issues that I have and stuff like that. I have a stroke while I'm pregnant with her. That was fun. Lost vision in my right eye, and my right hand didn't work. Yeah, my strong hand.
This is my strong hand. That's exactly what it looked like.
It did. And so TK is born around March 2018. So we're 2018 now. Thomas has...
No, I haven't went yet.
No, because she was about a year-ish old when you graduated the fire academy. So he graduates the fire academy
in October of 2018.
Yeah, in October of 2018. We rock on a little while. I'm still working at the dental clinic, off and on, here and there, just helping out because I decided not to go back completely full time. And
we're in that financial struggle again because if
Yeah.
y'all don't know, firemen don't make no money.
Don't.
Zero money. Might as well be doing it for free. An $800 paycheck every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What I'd bring home.
So we're just kind of doing our best, you know.
But I got a career, right?
Yeah.
Wee woo, wee woo.
And as much as I was gonna not be a CNA anymore, I ended up getting a really great job opportunity at North Mississippi in Tupelo, making the most I've ever made, being on the float pool staff at Tupelo Hospital. It's Lillian, isn't it?
That's Wild Bill.
Oh,
Shout out to Wild Bill. He's I will say he's one of my partners in
Yes, he is.
on my streams.
oh yeah.
He's wanting to get on and pray for people right now. He's done sent me a text message. The man's calling me. Shout out Wild Bill.
So anyways, we're in like February of 2019, and I get this really awesome job opportunity that's really going to help our family out financially. But it makes me going back to night shift, like overnight night shift. So I take it because, of course, I'm stupid not to. And in the meantime, between all that, he's been working on a lawn care company. He started his own lawn care company. He's working part-time for B.R. Ritchie doing construction because it's 1 on 2 off at the fire department.
Mhm.
So he's got all this free time to just fill it with work, you know. And so he
I was
kind of
working 3 jobs.
Yeah,
full
3
time,
jobs.
pretty much.
and you know we just trying to make ends meet at
Mhm.
this point. So with that grew a lot of distance and animosity and lots of stuff. Again, we're not communicating. We're shoving everything just as far down as you can shove it, you know.
No cap.
And
I mean, it was to the point where I was working so much, like the days that I was building houses, my hour that I would take lunch, I would go mow,
he'd go mow a yard, go back to work, get
And
off work,
go back to mowing.
go back to mow.
Weed eating with a headlamp on.
Yeah.
I mean, just
8:30, 9 o'clock at
Now
night.
I was making money. I was making good money, but you know that's just what it took. I mean, it took the grind to do it.
Yeah. And me, I'm working night shift at the hospital. I got 3 kids. You know, 2 of them are under a year and a half, 2 years old. You know, life is just really driving it home right now. And again, we're not talking. You know,
There's zero time. I mean,
exactly.
yes.
I mean, we're literally, hey, bye.
Yeah.
I'm going into work or I'm asleep.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of single parent stuff because he's working all the time, and then I'm working all the time. And I was throwing myself into motherhood so hard because, you know, when you have kids, it's easy for a mom to just give all her time, attention, and devotion to her kids. You know,
Mhm.
they need me. They're codependent on me. He's an adult. You know, it's easy to completely ignore your husband and his needs and wants and all the stuff. And especially when he's throwing himself into work to combat the fact that he's not getting what he needs from me as a wife. I'm not getting what I need from him as a husband. So we're just literally headed in 2 opposite directions.
Kind of like y'all share the same house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, roommates.
And so I start my new job. I love it. I get to float around the entire hospital, you know, working a lot. And I guess let's see. Yeah, I'd been there maybe like 2-3 weeks. And something in my gut just felt off. And I asked him, what's wrong with you? Because he just wasn't acting normal to me.
I will say through this whole entire her life, she and I maybe it's just part of it, but she has a gift of discernment like it ain't nobody's business, bro. She will read your mail, even if you try. If you hiding it, she knows.
You ain't hiding it.
So, with that being said, would you have called it that at that moment? Because y'all are still not in.
No,
church?
absolutely didn't know what it was, but I
Okay.
mean I just wanted to.
No,
Sure.
I've always been a very like empathetic type person.
Mhm.
Like if my friends were upset or sad, I carried that with me a lot. I could pick up on people's emotions and stuff and just feel that people are off.
Mhm.
So he was just off, and I just asked him, like, what's going on with you? And I did not expect what was gonna come out of his mouth. And he said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want a divorce. And it's like every bit of the oxygen in the room got sucked out. Because in my head, we just rocking on with life. We just doing
Mhm.
it, you know. And I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it had gotten to that point of unhappiness,
Mhm.
you know. And of course, then I go into, well, let's fix it mode. Well, you can't fix it if only one person wants to fix it. And he's done shut me out. He shut me out emotionally. He won't talk to me. It is what it is. He's made his mind up, all the things. So, I mean, and I'm sick. I can't eat. I can't sleep. Can't do all the things. I'm still trying to do mom. Still trying to work this new job. I'm thinking, great, I get to get fired because I can't even emotionally deal with this and then go to work and deal with my patients and everything else. So he packs up what he needs, his necessities, in garbage bags, and he heads to his mama's house. And I decide, well, I guess I'm staying in my little house on the hill because I got a good job and I budgeted all my stuff out and I can make it by myself. Because, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I can't change his mind. I can't talk him out of it. We're not going to counseling. I done asked that. He said no.
That's a big negative from my end right there.
And
Going to talk to somebody else about how I feel.
yeah, and like I said, his mind was straight up made up, So he's living with his mom, and I guess about 2.5-ish weeks go by, and I'm past the point of being heartbroken. Now I'm just mad. Because I'm like, I've given you 3 kids. I work my butt off. I try to be a good wife. I cook. I clean. I'm not perfect, but I do my best, kind of thing. And why ain't that good enough for you?
For the record, this was no vacation for me. Like, I didn't leave and just leave the kids, right? So, like,
no, he's still coming and getting the kids and doing his daddy duties and stuff like that. Like, he didn't abandon the kids or nothing like that by no means. He was. And that's one thing I did tell him.
If anything, she had more free time than I did because her night shift and the way my schedule fell in, like, I would have the kids while she was supposed to be at night, even if it wasn't my week.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have.
He was always going to be the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always been, a wonderful dad. And he knew I would give him my schedule anytime I had to work. I needed sleep. I needed whatever. He'd come get the kids. If he was on shift, I had the kids. Like, we never did well, you're only going to see him on the weekends thing.
Right.
I wasn't going to take that away from him. I mean, he was still their daddy. He's still a good daddy. And so we do that. And so a couple of weeks, I start getting I'm just angry, and I'm toting that around with me. And I remember him coming in the kitchen to get the kids one day. I didn't change the locks. He still had a house key. I wasn't a bitter, oh, you don't want to be with me, I'm fixing to make your life a living, what.
Yeah.
I wasn't like that, but I was still mad. And I remember he was in the living room, and he come in to get something of the kids. And I remember being so angry, and I yelled at him, why won't you talk to me? And I come this close to busting him in the face, but I hit the cedar wall beside him instead. And I thought I broke my hand, but I didn't. But that's how angry I was. I'm not a violent person, but for me to get to that point, my whole life had been, turned upside down.
There's a lot of confusion going on for you at this point because you still just don't really understand.
Right, because like I said, there's no communication here.
Mm-hmm.
All this is hitting me like somebody just punched me in my gut. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, what happened. Where did we go that wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So we're at like a month separated. And finally I think, well, if you want to be divorced, be divorced. Go serve me papers. I'm not paying for it.
Come get your crap, boy.
So I text him, you need to come get your stuff out my house. And Brandon, our friend that we previously had moved in with and stuff, I text him because, like I said, he was kind of like a brother to us. Hey, I need your help moving crap around in my house because some of the stuff I can't pick up. And I wasn't going to ask him to help me. And that...
So, hold on just a second. So, in that slap in the wall situation, nothing come from that conversation?
No, he literally said, I'm not talking about it, and walked out of my kitchen. Walked out of my living room kitchen area.
Is that how you remember this as well?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who,
not.
May?
Well, how do you
Absolutely not.
No,
how do you remember it?
I don't.
Oh, you don't remember me almost busting you in the face? I feel like
I tell you what
that.
I do remember, and this is weird to even say this. Like, so living at mom's with the girls, like, it was kind of eye opening a little bit because, hey, I'm getting divorced, I'm single, I'm gonna have all this free time, which I didn't have, but I had the girls like all the time because she was working night shift. But what the eye opening part of it was like I'm a very like not OCD, but like I want my stuff together, like prepared, in certain things in life, especially getting ready for the next day or whatever. So it was like every day, like I went and spent a bunch of money for their clothes that stayed at my place. She had their clothes at their place, so there wasn't going to be no trading out. We had all this figured out, but like I'd get off work and I'd have the girls or whatever pick them up from daycare, whatever they were doing at the time. But like I spent all afternoon like making sure that they were bathed and fed and clothes laid out and the whole entire thing, which wasn't that. I mean, it's eye-opening experience. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like just like crazy hard. But she's having all this, mad and angry and all the other stuff, and I wasn't really feeling anything. But what I do remember where I was going with all this, what I do remember from all that is like I had like some crazy quality time with my daughters because we only had one bed, so we slept all in the same bed, which we never really did that. But like it was just every night, I had one, all of them in the same bed with me, and it was kind of nice. I mean, I'm not gonna say if there's gonna take anything positive from it, I mean, that's a core memory for me as like on a positive side.
You knew you was being a good dad in that moment, and that's what you was gonna do.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Why'd you leave?
We're getting there.
Okay, that's part of this.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Carry on.
So, anyways, I do remember there was I think like 2 weeks after you left, we were supposed to be in a wedding together of another set of friends of ours, and he was a groomsman, I was a bridesmaid. We were supposed to walk together, whatever. Of course, that day comes, and I'm like, I ain't walking with him. And come to find out, a girl that was in the wedding party tells me, they all ran off to the strip club last night. So that infuriates me. And I go,
it was a bachelor party. Where else
it was
you
a
supposed to?
bachelor party, but that flew all over me because I'm just thinking, okay, well he's in this single mentality. Lord knows what he's did at this strip club.
I slept on a couch that night. I
Well,
mean,
my imagination is just like running wild.
We have learned since we started this podcast, you can find love. At
You
the
can
strip
find
club.
love there.
Apparently.
Something about the
Rare, but
neon glow off that horsey boy. I tell you what.
It's possible.
I didn't.
Well, I don't know what's going on, So I literally leave. We're fixing to line up to go walk and do this whole wedding with our friends.
That'll be a wedding crashers part 2 right
I
here.
literally get up, leave the bridal party, go find him halfway across on the other side of the property because it was a big like plantation home. I get this close to his face in front of wedding guests and everything. I do not care. And I tell him, I'm still legally married to you, and until the papers are finalized, you will respect me as much. I leave it at that. I walk off.
That is facts. That happened.
I did get so mad at him. So anyways, we stay separated for like 4.5-ish weeks. He finally, I guess, when I told him to come get his crap, reality just set in. Like, am I really fixing to throw my whole family away, pretty much? So he comes home, and we had a big, long conversation, and we finally realized we're not communicating. We're not, he's not telling me when something's wrong. I'm not telling him. We're throwing ourselves into work. We're throwing ourselves into parenthood, and we should be devoting and making more time for each other, and we're not.
This was year 7 of our marriage.
Yeah,
by
this
the
was
way.
year 7.
We've been
and-
married 7 years at this point.
So that was a lot. So we vowed, okay, well, you're going to come home. We're going to fix this. We're going to, do whatever we got to do to fix it, and we're going to be good. So, and, we were. her
Communication was never a way of fixing things to me.
no, which we both
So-
grew up in households we weren't taught to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was just you did what you did and you got by.
Yeah.
So
I left because, well, I mean, a lot of it was just a buildup of stuff. Like, I wasn't number one in the house. I was number 2, 3, or 4. Like, I was, I had feelings of, I don't exist. I'm there for the money or whatever it was. Like, I wasn't getting no attention. I mean, if you will, sex life was garbage, if you want to call it that, whatever. Not, hold on, let me rephrase that.
It was
That's a bad-
non-existent.
Non-existent, not garbage. I mean, it was great. But anyway, it wasn't frequent. It was, and
it was not where it needed to be.
Yeah.
right.
Because, I
say
mean,
that.
like you said, you working 3 jobs. She's at nighttime. I mean, there's no this time.
There was no, and I say sex life like it's, I mean, it is a big deal, but like there was no intimacy,
No.
zero,
Yeah.
even on a non-sexual level.
Mhm.
There was,
I mean, we didn't even have time to even lay on the couch with each other,
Right.
and just exist together. So
You was existing in the world, but not to each other.
and my answer to all
Absolutely.
that was like, I'm gone. Like, I can't live this way. And it's been a build up.
yeah, it
Like,
like
it wasn't an overnight thing. Like,
Mhm.
it was
no,
a build up
years
of years
of stuff
Mhm.
not being talked about. And so he thought the solution was to just
Yeah.
leave. So
took a month.
we rock on. He quits the lawn care thing. We decide that's too much. I'm still working at the hospital. He's still working at the fire department. We seem better. We seem happier. We're trying to talk. We're learning. We're navigating that. And so we're knocking on like 2020 at this point. I'm at work one night and I'm sitting there, I'm charting on a patient and my phone goes off. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I ain't been at work but maybe a couple hours. And it is a guy that I don't know, have no idea who he is. And it says, "Hey, is this Kayla Foley?" And I say, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Is your husband Thomas Foley?" So I think, oh, he's looking for somebody to mow his grass, but your timing sucks. It's 10:30 at night, No, your husband's been snapping my wife. And I'm like, come again. Me and him are texting. He's just airing all the dirty laundry. Him and his wife were on the beach. He catches her on her phone, looks at it, finds out it's this guy. I immediately get up from my desk, charting, whatever. I go tell my manager, I have to leave. I have a family emergency. That's all I say. I don't give her time to answer me. Yes, no, maybe so. I'm out the door. I drive from Tupelo to Amory. He's on shift at the fire department. He's sitting outside the fire department when I pull up. He's not expecting me. I get out of my car and I lay into him.
Not with physical force.
Not with physical
I mean, she
force. I wanted to, but I didn't. Well, of course,
verbal.
he denies it. He's like, I'm not, why would I be snapping her? Blah, 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 blah. Now, keep in mind, this is an ex from, like, grade school,
Mhm.
okay? And I'm like, oh, you ain't been snapping her? Let me call her real quick. So I call her and put her on, speakerphone. She's telling me everything. He's standing there looking stupid.
You want to talk about a feeling, guys?
Oh, man. Man.
So I'm just like beside myself because I'm thinking, what else have you lied to me about? Like you're doing all this. He's just talking to this girl, but there were intentions there.
Mhm.
Even though it was just texting, nothing ever happened, but intentions were made very obvious, And so I tell him what for, and I go home. And my mind is just reeling because I'm like, we were separated. And then I go into, I should have just let him divorce me. I don't even know why I fought for that, And that's where my mind was. And that's a really crappy place to be mentally. And he comes home the next day he gets off shift, comes home. Did we talk that morning when you got home? I don't think we did.
It was all a blur at this point in my life.
I don't think we did. You know, I do the whole, well, if you promise not to do it again thing. Yeah, okay. So,
Did you promise not to do it again?
he did promise not to do it again, but
We're on the right track.
Yeah.
we're getting there.
Still no God in this situation.
Zero.
Absolutely not.
But this is where he gets introduced at.
we're working on it.
That's a good spot usually. That's down in the
Right.
valley.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So we decide to maybe we need to get back in church because we obviously can't do nothing right in this marriage because, you know, here we are, year, 8.5-ish now, and things still suck. Why?
Now, conversation of church has been brought up a
Multiple
lot
times over the
between
years.
us in our marriage.
Yeah.
It was like we really need to go. Like,
But we
really
just never did anything about it.
you know, and where do we go?
Yeah.
So, and that was, well, I don't want to go there. I had a huge problem with churches that had lots of money and showed it because of where I grew up and went to church at. Like we didn't have,
Yeah.
there was no money. Like there was, you know,
It was a plain Jane simple, you just went in there, worshiped the Lord, and went home.
yeah.
You know?
Of course, I was very naive on how church works also, but, you know,
And I had a problem with, because, I mean, if you know me, you see me, I always have some odd-colored hair. I'm covered in tattoos. I have piercings. I'm just who I am.
Right.
And I'm not very polished with how I talk, clearly. You know, I just had a problem with every time I walked into a church house, I got the one up and down,
Mhm.
oh, another one kind of thing. So I just didn't want to go to church.
I've never noticed the hair thing you're speaking of.
I know you can't tell it right now because it is semi-normal, but so yeah, I stayed far away from churches just because I felt judged constantly. And so he actually had a friend of his invite us to Amory First, and we
no, we didn't start there.
where'd we go?
We went to,
Oh, we went to King City.
well, it's Cornerstone then.
Yeah, in
Drew.
Tupelo. Yeah, that's right.
So we started our journey there, which because our friend of ours that I grew up with was, hey, you know, let's come up here, and so
Yeah.
we was making the drive to Tupelo every Sunday pretty religiously for a while,
Yeah.
and we had tremendous growth there spiritually.
Yeah.
And it got where the people that we were hanging out with and some of the conversations was almost living a double life. Like we were thinking that they were this, but like, hey man, y'all come hang out with us one Friday night and had a big cookout.
Yeah.
And we went, you know, and it was just like
These church going, you know, good
everybody
Christian
from
people.
the church showed up, and then they're all sitting around drinking beer and doing all this stuff. And I had a huge problem with that
Yeah.
because
so,
that's not correct.
Yeah.
You know,
so we kind of just stopped
like we just stopped going
there for a hot minute. And
Didn't
then,
even know that the church that we go to even existed.
No, we
We
I
drive past it
all
every
the
day.
time.
Didn't even know it existed. We lived right around the corner up on the hill at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so his friend invites us to Amory First, and I start kind of asking people, like, what's this Amory First? You know, and they're like, oh, they're kind of like Pentecostal-ish, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, he
I
grew
do.
up in a Pentecostal-based church. I did not. I grew up in Baptist. You go in, you shut up, you listen, you know, you sing a couple hymns, you listen to the preacher, and then you go eat a buffet somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up.
Of course, you know, I don't know how many people y'all got watching this, but we're small town, so you hear all the drama from each church. So us picking out a church to kind of go to,
Yeah.
like across the street from us, you know, there at that time you probably wouldn't know this, maybe you remember, but there was a big ordeal that happened there where it split,
Yeah.
and then Cornerstone, they had a semi thing going on. Not really. I think everybody at the time was going to Cornerstone like that was the hot church to go to, right? But
yeah, the trendy church in town.
trendy church. I like that word, trendy. So, but I still had a big issue with like money.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even explain it now because I don't even remember what it was because it was kind of crazy. But like, I had a big issue with that.
Well, we ended up visiting one Sunday, and everybody was so nice, so well. I remember Sandra Boozer was one of the first women to come up, and she hugged me.
You ain't making it past that.
No, and made me feel just at home. And for an older woman, an elder in the church, a founding lady of that church, to come up and make me, a lady with, I think I had pink hair at the time, with tattoos, make me feel
You
welcome.
had dreads.
No, I didn't have my dreads yet.
She didn't have her dread yet.
Did not have my dreads yet.
I
we
wasn't
were.
going there yet. I
yeah.
remember when she got the dread.
I did get the dreads. Those come later. But I still had funky hair, and for her to come up and make me feel welcome, I do remember telling Thomas, like, that meant a lot to me. And because it was usually the older crowd that would do the most judgmental looks in my direction. And so, we were like, do we like it here? We decided we'll go back. And we kept going back. And, I got asked to help in the nursery.
I got this.
Okay. I started serving in the nursery, helping out in the nursery and stuff like that. Well, then I got asked to be over the nursery.
Oh, hold on. Before we get that far into that part of it, like, so there was a lot of growth there that come with
Oh yeah,
this whole, like, it's not like we just started, like, there's time that come into this. Like, it was like COVID happened, and like they just had their first service back after COVID. So
that's right.
We started church before COVID, and that's when we were doing Tupelo thing. COVID happened, and we didn't do online church.
No.
So we just kind of quit going.
So I'm just gonna tell you, not to ruin on your parade here. Your time's a little off there, and the reason I know that is because I started going there before COVID.
We didn't.
Yeah, you did, and I'll tell you how I know that for a fact. Because we had a bonfire one night, and I've told you this story.
It was after COVID.
That was
I
after
promise.
COVID.
That was after COVID. What I'm getting at
Yes.
is I remember when the church shut the doors for COVID,
Yes.
and we wasn't having church, and me and Heather were already going there then, so I know y'all were. Because I had seen you, you were there the first time I ever went because you were one of the people I recognized.
I think that might have been one of our first.
It might have been one of your first times too, but you were already there.
I'm almost positive say that we never went in that building until after COVID.
Mm-mm. I'm almost certain because I think the Sunday that
pull the record book up.
I might have to.
the
pull the
first
record book
Sunday
up.
that we started, I think, was it like that next week or so was the bonfire?
Because I say this, so I naturally a loser.
Yes.
I seen Thomas and wanted to talk to him. I'm gonna tell this story, and then we might take another break to go into part 4. This is just a funny for y'all. Me and Thomas grew up in the same church. He went a lot more than I did, but I went enough that I knew who Thomas was, and thought maybe
I hated
Thomas,
this guy as a little kid.
Thought maybe me and Thomas are pretty
Apparently
different in
that's a
age,
trend.
but so I seen Thomas at church. I was like, I'm gonna try to talk because I was trying to find friends in the church. This is when I was with my first wife, when we started going to that church. And we had a bonfire one night, and I walk up to try to talk to Thomas, and I'm like, hey, man, you remember me? We used to go to church together when we were kids. I'm Rusty's little brother. And Thomas just like, yeah. And then kept walking, and I was like, well, this church ain't going to work out for me.
Wow.
I was like, that dude broke my heart. I'll tell you.
Made him lose his salvation.
Yeah, I was like, well, all right then. So, that being said, that was a funny and a good stopping point because y'all are diving deeper into the church.